Hi YouTube, how are you doing? I'm grabbing a cigarette. I'm doing pretty good, not bad. Um, I had people trying to push me online. Nothing new, but my response was new. It doesn't bother me as bad as it used to, you know. Although I'm retired, I had a youngster say, we were talking, she was talking politically on a post that I had put in a group called Patriots Unite. So, and she was rather rude, calling me sweetheart and a couple other things. And I'm just like, aren't you a special peanut? LOL, and I'm like, wow. But I did think it was kind of comical. So she asked me if I worked, and I said, well, I was thinking about going out and walking the streets, but since I'm retired, I, you know, reconsidered or whatever, something like that at her, yeah, LOL. you know, cheers, everybody. So, yeah, people do grow. That's what my topic today is, when people accuse you of changing, like that's a bad thing. We're supposed to change, So, but I've had people say, "Oh, well, you're not the same." Oh, well, that's right. I'm not, am I? For them, maybe that's a bad thing. For me, maybe it's a better thing, a good thing. Anyway, I just decided to have fun with her since she's at work and I'm not. That's horrible. I could have been mean and said, well, sweetheart, actually, I start my own company so I don't have to um, bow to the man, and then I get a good accountant so I don't have to pay anything to the man either. How do you like that? Stupid. But I thought, no, I was going to be funny about it instead, because that last one, that would have been the old me. The new me is going to have more fun with them and not even take it serious. It's like, go ahead, bring it on. I got something for you, peanuts. And peanuts, popcorn, like I'm selling them at a stadium. Yeah, hot dogs, peanuts, popcorn, Coke. Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah. Anyway, I sort of feel sorry for her, but not entirely, because she was trying. Well, she was rude, entirely rude. I could read it to you, be like, whoa, you know. Most of you would say something back, and I wasn't quite going there. I'm not giving them anything anymore. Not like that. Not like they want. If we're gonna fight, we're gonna do this shit real. We're not gonna play games. You know? I don't like that. No, it's not just you can say anything and that's the way it is. It's like, no, you say shit, you better back your shit up. You know? If anybody didn't notice, this is not just the spiritual world. It's a combination thing, and I'm not playing. I'll always bring fairness and honor to the table. But if that's the dishonor is there to begin with, I don't have to come with my sword in its sheath, you know. If I got, if I get there, that's just too bad with people. That's my attitude now. Up first, I'll laugh, and then you're going to get what you give, you know. I may not even laugh. I might just give you people, the bad ones, what you need, you rude little fuckers. you know, kind of like I was telling you about that meme yesterday where that 70-year-old had her children yapping at her because she wouldn't bail them out of jail and she went on a cruise instead. Like she's a bad mom for spending the money that she earned to have a nice life in her, older years. Good for her, you know. I hope she lives long and prospers in her adventures. So my income wouldn't allow me to go on a cruise. Well, it would if I saved, and I really don't have a lot of expenses, but mine's more. I'm thinking I would like to really take a train trip with a sleeper car. I love that. It's so cool. You can fall asleep. The train's going down the tracks. It almost rocks you to sleep. You know, it's really cool. Love it. If you can afford a sleeper car. I haven't always been able to, but I do love trains. Love them. I don't know if there's any pictures. My oldest son, when he was little, I took him to this thrashing show where it was steam powered farm implements and engines and that type of thing. And this one guy there had a train and a train track. You've probably seen these before, mini trains, like each car on the train, like the engine was like 4 foot long and he sat on it. And then there was little cars behind it and the kids could sit on there or adults and ride it. So yeah, I my little guy was on there. That was fun, really nice. It's pretty amazing to see them old steam power farm implements and think with petroleum based combustible engines that it could be just done with steam and even like the mixture hydrogen petroleum mix, with the aspect of like fuel injection with the steam powered. I think they call them hydrogen cars, like a bomb, but anyway, yeah. So I don't know if it's because of the planetary alignments and I know that those types of things are real with our biology and that. Um, if not just for the attitude of the collective on the planet, but I believe it's a actual mechanism within us, those timers, those things that I just feel different, you know. And I was thinking, is it because I'm getting older? Because people should kind of mellow out, but I don't feel mellowed out like that. I just feel different about it. Way more serious. I've always been serious. I've always had one mission in my life was to bring good and bad energy together and force it to coordinate, you know? And within ourselves, that's a good thing to look at too, like that. But I mean, um, sort of like putting the monster in a cage. I mean, we all have to. If we don't learn to live like a civilized human being, you might as well just go out and live under a bridge. You don't have any business around people, or walk the streets. Yeah. That's a joke. Yeah. Anyway, it's way worse of a joke than I could even explain. I've never done it, but I know people, I'm related to people that did. I had somebody try to insult me with that because somebody I was related to did that, and it's like, wow. I'll tell you what it was. First time I ever met my grandmother, my mother's mom, and my oldest sister came to visit me. And they used to live in Minnesota. The family had moved to California, and now most of them are in Texas. And so, anyway, my sister says, real, almost like sweet, and she looks a lot like me. She's got green eyes, though, hazel. And so, here's this person that I just met, and she's sitting next to my grandma. My grandma's sitting next to me, and she, by the way, treated my grandma so dirty I couldn't hardly believe it. I, even if I didn't like somebody, I'm thinking, well, whatever. Didn't really know the history behind it, but when I got to know my grandmother that was a lot like me, I started understanding things a lot more. So, anyway, to get to what was said, my oldest sister says, did you know that your mother was out there walking the streets? That was after I was born. She got rid of me and whatever, and her. And then my grandma said, trying to insult me. And I was just kind of stunned. And my grandma says, weren't you out there with her? I just about, inside, I lost it for a bit there. I was like, whoa, my grandma. Her mouth was like mine, just cutting to the quick, down to the bone. Loved her. I loved her so much. She was a cool woman. Yeah. She did hold that family together with stability. I can see how she's missed. And she had something a lot of them lack: integrity. So, anyway, yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't even told you my story about whatever, 'cause it's not me. It's them, but just my making jokes about it, I guess, would be tasteless and tacky to some people. But I still think it's funny, and it's still not me. So, whatever. Doing drugs, having to find money for drugs. I mean, I have compassion for addicts, and I have compassion for people that sell their selves, especially when they were conditioned in bad ways or abused when they were younger and that type of thing. Yeah, big time. Most of the people in the porn industry um, were probably annihilated when they were little people. And not everybody's strong enough to pull themselves out of things. Yeah. I wonder, I was going to say, I wonder what people feel like when they're rude, but yeah, I pretty much know it gives them a sense of some kind of power or something, whatever. that's probably about it today. I hear Doug choking in the background. You can probably hear it too. So, um, yeah, I just wanted to talk about changing and, you know, I'm still combative if I go there, you know, and it might take a lot and it might not. I don't know. I'm not going to worry about having any patience for foolishness anymore. That's not even close to how I'm feeling. But I do feel more calm about um their small-minded ways, you know. So anyway, put it this way, for me, I know who I am and they show me who they are, and that's all I can go on. Their perspective, their point of view, whatever they want to think, um like talking about invading other countries or whatever, if they're somehow regressed situation has them believing that that's a good thing in any way, I can't help them. So that's what the post was all about, actually, anyway. Just making it clear that these countries that people want to invade have health care for their citizens and all kinds of things that nobody's even talking about because they don't care. They're just like, oh, it's a good military spot. And yeah, right. It's called invasion. You know, it's wrong. Oh, anyway. All right, everybody. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA. Have a good night or day wherever you're at.